Hey, this is Joey at lightsatwholesale.com. We're going to go over how to glue an archway. All right, the first thing you want to do when you get to the property is to get your lights laid out, is to get the glue gun, get it going because it takes a little bit for it to get hot. This one's been running for just a little bit, so it's good to go. Always have a second backup. That way, if that fails or maybe you need an extra battery, you can pop one in, but have an extra glue gun because these triggers can fail and you can have a hard time with one. You don't want it to stop you from your project. So then we got some glue sticks over here. I always have a couple extra glue sticks. What I'm gonna do, since that's already a full stick there, I'm gonna just leave these beside, and then I'm gonna take this, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it at the top of this little giant that's in the A-frame setting, and we're gonna hook it around the end there to help support. The big thing when gluing an archway is that you need support or else the bulb weight wants to come down. So we'll give it plenty of slack, and then you can just loop it right here on the end. The other thing is you want to also wear gloves. This glue is really hot and you can burn your fingers. So we're going to start down low here. You may not be 100% symmetrical as it goes up from the other side, but what I like to do is make sure the bulbs are tight as you go up. And then this is mainly on socket and they don't have a clip. This is without the clips. We sell it like this and we sell them with the clips. If you do have a clip, like let's say it was on this side, you'd want to do it this way. We like to glue the sides of the socket. That's why I'm saying this way. There's other people who like to glue the back of the sockets like this. We don't like doing that because that's actually how it attaches to the socket is the back. This is like how it assembles. And so this is actually like the weakest part of it. Mainly on socket line, they're very tough. This is actually, if you're gonna glue the back, I would do it with this type of socket because they're very hard to get off. But for us, as we glue the sides, there's more surface area for the bulbs to actually attach to. And it's just, since the beginning, that's the way we've been doing it. There's other guys that will do it this way as well. The problem with that is people come by and they're knocking it off. So I believe this way, then it's that way, then it's that way, if there's different methods to do it as far as ranking. So here is, we want to start it about right here. What I like to do is I like to get it started up high and let it kind of roll down. It's pretty warm outside, so it's gonna take a little bit for it to stick. Plus, this is not like really porous brick, this is stone. So it's gonna take even longer to kind of set. While it sets, you can also give it another little dab, let it roll down in there. Main thing is when it's hot outside, like if you're doing Halloween lights and it's October, it's just gonna take a little bit longer for you to hold it here. Now, if it's really cold outside, it'll probably take 5-6 seconds that you have to hold this. So, like I said, the main thing we want to do is let it cool down, and then it's supported by the weight of the ladder. So you can see as it starts to cool down, you can kind of work up to the next one. Like I said, support it with the weight, be pretty gentle with it. If it starts to droop or slack, you can come down and fix it. With stone is we like to line it up where it's gonna nestle and fit into there. We try not to force anything. You can see it's pretty hot outside, this glue is dripping. But if it's a little bit of slack right here, what we'll do is a little bit drip down on it, but we'll take a little dab and then we'll tuck the wire just a little bit. So right here is we're kind of supporting everything, getting everything lined up, using multiple hands to progress the install. You do want this line tight, but to us, as long as it's snug, there's no like coming off the wall and it's very clean, that's good with us. Because sometimes with this stone, you can't match it up and you have to adjust just a little bit. All right, that one's pretty good there. So what we like to do is that little lip that flanges out at the top of the socket, that goes ahead of the brick, but everything else stays back. As you glue and it's hot outside, especially October, you can go ahead and turn the glue gun off and kind of try to control the temperature a little bit so it's going to start cooling down. You just want it to basically like ooze out when it's really hot because it's just going to take a little bit more time for it to set. Now what you want to do is transfer the weight over to be able to transfer and move the ladder. So with these is I need a lot more slack to bump the ladder over. Whenever you're gluing is to be pretty generous with it. The main thing is for it to stick to the brick. Sometimes this is pretty porous brick, which the glue will kind of adhere to a little better. But if you got really slick brick, really smooth brick, it's gonna maybe come off a little bit easier. So definitely use a little bit more glue with that. So now we're gonna bump the ladder over just to reach the other side and be able to go down. You shouldn't have to move the ladder much on an archway, unless it's a really big archway. I'm gonna grab me an extra glue stick because I'm starting to run pretty low. Throw it in my back pocket. So one thing we want to do is we're going to hang a 2D wire decor in the future. I think a star right above it for a red, white, and blue theme, 4th of July. So what we're going to do is create an inline so that way it can go straight up to that star. The reason why I say this now is because if you glue, it's going to be a lot harder to put that inline on. So I got a female here, and basically what I'm going to do is notch out the side to make an inline. Didn't break as clean. All right, I got my inline here. I'm going to attach it right kind of in between the white and the blue bulb, and because I'm going to take that blue bulb and put it right at the center of the archway. Now that I got my inline in place, let's glue this blue bulb to the top of the arch. You can see already I'm getting glue on my fingers, so that's why you want to wear gloves. Remember, we want everything symmetrical, so even if there's slack in line, we're just going to tuck it back a little bit and glue it down. So what we want to do here is to match up the symmetry. So you can see it's going to be a half brick, 1, 2, 3, it's on the 4th half brick, 1, 2, 3, it's on the 4th. We're out of glue, throw in another glue stick. Once you get around this curve, then you can actually see where you're at and line it up. You can ask somebody else, usually a grounds guy, to help clip it off and run power. So what you can do is, as you're finishing it off with one guy, is another guy comes in and cleans up and finishes the run for you. Because by the time you get down to here, you guys can wrap up and leave. And so you can see that white bulb is right there. We're gonna cut it. A female's gonna go there, a male's gonna go there because our power source is over there, and we're gonna run power to it. So how you wanna run power is you can come over here, we got our photocell timer. You're gonna put that in because then you get to see the real distance of where you're at. And then we're gonna run this cord to the lights, give it a little slack around the corner. That should be good there. Then you're going to cut this. You're working from the power source out, so you're going to not plug it in, but you can do a male here. I'm going to run it nice and clean. That's a good amount there. You're going to do a male female. So the end of this is going to have a female, that way you don't have a hot male. And this one's going to have a male. Then we're going to pop over to the other side of the archway, have a female. And then what you want to do before you actually glue it down is to test the power and make sure everything's looking good. That way your guy on the ladder can actually, if a bulb is out or it's a little loose, he can just tighten things up. So right now it's in the on position. We're going to plug it in. We got good power all the way down. Looks like all the bulbs are lit up. And all we have to do is dab this up through here. So we want to clean up the line. I like to work from the lights to the power source. And again, we're just going to do this quickly. Give it a couple dabs. Do it right around the corners. You're going to do one there and one there. If there's a bunch of dirt, you're going to have to brush away a little debris. But we want no trip hazards. We want it nice and clean. Corners. Couple more dabs. That way it's nice and clean. And then before you leave the property, you just want to make sure that it's set to the right amount.